Skate mundial. E onde foi mesmo que ele ganhou o seu primeiro grande campeonato, hein, Felipe? Onde foi mesmo?
Praça do Óleo, uma participação histórica aqui no STU. A gente teve a oportunidade de ver aí o Yuto. Até então eu não conhecia o skate do Yuto, o Horibome. Isso reflete, cara, muito empenho que os skatistas asiáticos estão tendo nessa preparação para o período olímpico que se aproxima.
Pois é, galera, é o seguinte, apesar do Brasil ser uma imensa potência do skate, em todas as modalidades, não tem nada garantido não, viu? Você vê que eles chegaram muito forte, com muito preparo. Os japoneses estão fazendo um trabalho seríssimo de construção de pistas.
Skateboarding in Brazil became one of the most influential cultures, along with soccer and surfing. Growing up here can be rough, but skateboarding gives kids an opportunity to see the world in a different way. There's so many sick spots here. Sometimes the ground isn't the best, but we make it work. Coming up in the skate industry is tough, so we film video parts or enter contests to try to make a name for ourselves. Street contests have been a big part of Brazil's skateboarding since the 90s. So it's really come to Brazil, it's huge. This championship is so inspiring for the people because they can get to see the favorite pros from all over competing in one of the best contests in the world.
Welcome everybody to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A beautiful country with great skate culture and a land of incredible passion for skateboarding all around, and we're live from Carioca Arena in Olympic Park. And this is the World Skate SLS World Championship Men's Super Crown Final. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Paul Zitzer, alongside the legend, Chris Cole and Andrew Cannon. Now, this weekend started out with over 80 skaters from 40 different countries, all trying for a chance to skate against the SLS pros. Now, Chris, 40 countries, that alone is just nuts.
I mean, yeah, it is nuts. When I first started skating contests, I couldn't imagine 40 different countries represented at this level of skateboarding.
And those countries just keep raising the bar, and we're gonna see more and more of that here tonight. But first, let's talk about the season. Yuto Horigome has won 3 stops in a row coming into this. He's going for the sweep. Somebody's gonna have to step up and stop him from being crowned world champion. I don't know how anybody's gonna do it. He has been so dominant. Who could possibly be the guy to dethrone Yuto?
Well, you talk about dominating, and there's nobody who has dominated SLS the way that Nyjah Huston has. I mean, he is the defending 2017 world champion. Now, he started off the season a little slow. He came back from an injury, unable to skate in London, and then he's been working his way back in, but he skated well in Huntington Beach, and coming into the semifinals, he skated really well. His strategy seemed like it was a little bit off. He tried a trick 3 times, which is not his normal move because he's such a smart player here at Street League. But his tricks are there, and I think today we're going to see him take it.
Absolutely, I think that you're right, but we also have to talk about Aurélien Giraud. He's new to the contest. He's already skated the course more than anybody else and done so well in the previous contest leading up to this. And he's throwing down huge tricks that could potentially win this contest very fast if he just makes them all.
So it's all gonna come down to this right now. Men's Super Crown Final about to begin. Let's take a look at our start list. There we go, the first 4 skaters on that list had to qualify into the Super Crown this week. Ivan Montero and Aurélien Giraud coming up through the Global Open, and then Mark Suciu and Nyjah Huston as SLS pros that had to skate the semis to make it this far. Skaters number 5 through 8 on that list are SLS pros pre-qualified to the Super Crown based on World Tour points. Tonight we got 3 Americans, 3 Brazilians, France and Japan. Yuto Horigome from Japan will be skating last. We're about ready to kick things off, but first we're gonna throw it down to Andrew Cannon, who's with Chris Joslin.
Chris, you've come into this having not skated yet because you were pre-qualified in. How are you feeling? Are you feeling nervous about that, or are you feeling nice and fresh?
I've took every advantage of practice that I could, so I'm not that fresh, but at the same time, I mean, I didn't have the nerves and the stress that all the other dudes did, so I don't know, or not all the other dudes, I should say, like a few of them did, and yeah, I mean, not so much strategy, just kind of got my runs down and then hope for the best in the singles, you know?
Best of luck to you out there today.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
We are gonna hope for the best from all these skaters here tonight. But first, let's break down how this event works with the basics. There are 2 sections to Street League, run section and best trick. Each skater gets 2 45-second runs, followed by 5 best trick attempts. The top 4 scores from each skater, regardless of section, are totaled for their final score. And now, let's meet our Super Crown skaters. First skater coming in tonight from Brazil. This kid is a contest machine. He's been all over the world the last few years, skating every event he can. This is his first ever Super Crown. He qualified in through the Global Open. Ivan Montero. Next in, a skater, Mr. Technician. He's really turned up the heat this year. It's been an amazing thing to see. Never known as a contest skater, but hey, that has changed. He's in the Super Crown, Mark Suchu. Coming in third tonight, just making it into the final this weekend based on his last trick in the semis. It was a close call for Nigel Houston. He's never missed a final. He is the defending Super Crown champ, and he's going for back-to-back tonight. Aurélien Girard from France, winner of 2015 Tampa Am. That put his name on the map. He's been winning events in Europe ever since. This is his first ever SLS Super Crown. Chris Joslin, we heard from him. He is a 9-club machine. He goes bigger than anyone in the world. He has a great chance of winning. He was pre-qualified in. We haven't seen him skate this weekend yet. It's going to be interesting to see what he does on this course. Felipe Gustavo, another Brazilian. He's going to be feeling a lot of pressure from this crowd. They love him out here. He's a technician, skating in his first Super Crown. Felipe Gustavo. The 2015 world champ, Kelvin Hoffler, the 3rd Brazilian in the Super Crown tonight. He wants to win, and he can do it. And finally, from Japan, the guy who has dominated all season long. He has 3 wins in a row. London, LA, Huntington Beach, and here we are in Rio. Can he do it again? Yuto Horigome. Those are the 8 skaters who are going to be battling it out here on this course tonight. Chris Cole, what do you think is going to happen in the run section among these guys? Any predictions? What do they need to do?
I think what's going to happen is everybody already made the finals. It's time to crank it in. You get 2 goes at a really great run. Why not try to do it on the first run? Instead of playing it safe, just nail into it. You know everybody's going to land big tricks. The ending results are going to be 8s and 9s. So just try to get that 8 for your run score.
I agree. This is the final. If you hold back, you're going to end in 8th place. You got to go all in.
Yeah, why wait till next year?
Ivan Montero in for his first run. And this kid is an experienced contest veteran. We haven't seen him in SLS other than in the Pro Open, where he almost made it in and qualified into SLS, and he's kept it going here this weekend, and look what he's doing.
He is ripping right now. This is an incredible run.
Whoa! Oh, wow. That was so close.
A tray flip nose blunt slide in a run is unheard of. He's skating with the big boys, so this makes sense. You want to beat these guys, you have to come with a run like this.
He is going to run out of time at the end of run number 1, Ivan Montero. So coming in real hot, falling on one trick. I think leaving that open to the judges, though, is a problem because they're going to have to come in with low scores with falls, I'm guessing. Chris, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think that they have to come in with a good score.
Yeah.
But it's a 6.1 he gets, and I know exactly why. Because we don't know what's happening next.
Right.
They can always gauge their scores based upon what they've given out.
They don't want to run out of room in the top because we know these are the best guys in the world. There's
Absolutely.
9s coming for days.
Absolutely.
So next in, Mark Suciu. 2018 SLS pick. Skated London Pro Open, didn't make finals. Didn't make finals in LA. Got 4th in Huntington. He's building. He's building. He's looking good.
Absolutely. I did not know that he had contest skating like this. I knew that he had great tricks and great video parts, but until this year, I didn't know that his consistency level was at a point where he could do things like that.
Yes!
A half-cap feeble back 180 on a handrail in a line. That's a video part trick.
It shows how great of a skateboarder Mark Suciu is. He's unstoppable in the streets and now in the arena. It's amazing. Beautiful.
Well put together. I mean, he is such a smart guy, and I think that he's figured out the strategy, but also put together a perfect run. He didn't run out of time, and he got off the top turnbuckle on his last trick, which always makes a great impression.
Taking another look, gap up, backside lip slide on that huge bar.
It was perfectly placed in the center of his board.
All right, waiting on that score. 8.2.
Yep.
The judges are feeling what Mark Suciu is putting down out here in Rio. Congratulations. Run number 1 in the bag for Suciu. Now let me give you a breakdown of the pylon on the left of your screen and how it works. Below the skater's name are the run section and best trick tabs. The top 4 scores will be shown in white, and the drop scores will be shown in gray. Below that is the leaderboard. Current skater's name is highlighted in white, and after their attempt, their name will be in gray until they skate again. The leaderboard will update after every single score, and then finally on the bottom tab, you'll see what score the skater needs for the lead, and then if they can't take the lead, you'll see the highest placing they can get with a score. That is the pylon. So Nyjah Huston in next. I want to welcome Andrew Cannon back into the booth with us.
Thanks, Paul.
Let's talk a little bit about Nyjah's performance here in Rio so far. He just squeezed into the finals.
Yeah, he just squeezed into the finals, but he had 2 great run scores in the semis. He had an 8.8 and an 8.9. So if he can continue on with that, it's looking like he's going to get a really good score as we move in.
That's right. He floundered a bit in best trick, but his runs were incredible in prelims.
I mean, he's already putting together an incredible run. I mean, the back 180 nose grind to straight and that back nose blunt were perfect.
Looks like he's doing such a good job of mixing up the tricks, too. You've got the flip tricks, you've got the really difficult rail tricks and ledge tricks.
And he doesn't pass up obstacles. He has a trick for everything on the course like that.
Hey, I wouldn't even fault him for it because he just jammed in so many tricks on every obstacle, like you said. They were tech, they were hard, they were flip tricks, they were just scary over crooks like that one. It's a great mix of danger and technical ability.
How does that compare to those semifinal runs that we saw, the 8.8 and the 8.9, Chris?
Well, the score's in, it's an 8.7, so I think it does compare. They were great runs, just on par with his qualifying runs.
And you saw he was smiling, ran off the course. He's stoked. When he's feeling it, the rest of these guys have problems. Aurélien Giraud skating in his first ever Super Crown final. This kid is a beast. Woo!
comes out with a monster back three.
You talked about it earlier, Chris. This guy has had to skate in every single qualification to get in this week. So he is very well versed. It could go either way. He could be really tired, or he could be really well practiced and ready for this.
Absolutely. There's a huge part of skating the course over and over and really getting your speed down, where you set up your feet, how many pushes, where you pop your tail. All that stuff is familiarity with the course.
Wow.
And he has that more than anybody right now, and he is crushing it.
Hey, that run was amazing, and to finish it with 1 second left.
And jam another good trick.
And risk falling, even though he had a great run and could have called it. That shows he's taking chances and trying to win.
Absolutely.
Even just his confidence overall, he looks like a seasoned vet, even though this is his first ever SLS.
Yep,
really
I mean, ignorance is bliss, though. He doesn't have any post-traumatic stress from these other guys in other contests, so it is nice to go out there fresh sometimes.
Got to be feeling good about that. Needs an 8.8 to take the lead from Nyjah Huston. 8.7, tied with Nyjah. Hey, the crowd hates it.
You know what? The crowd can hate it. If you stack up the lines together, Nyjah jammed in a trick every single place he could.
All right, there's Yuto Horigome. He will be skating run number 1 when we come back.
Belo cartão de visita, Janão. O bonde passou pesado aqui pela Arena Carioca, detonando cada centímetro do Split League Course, especialmente montado para esse evento aqui no Rio de Janeiro. Todas as situações são aproveitadas por esses pro riders. E galera, vem muito mais por aí. Aguarde.
Ok, galera, é o seguinte, como a gente vem dizendo, coisas boas acontecem com quem compartilha e participa das promoções. Se liga aí no Monster Sim Upgrade. Você publica uma foto com seu amigo, tua galera, teu namorado, tua namorada, enfim. Publica no Insta com a hashtag Monster Sim Upgrade. Você tem a chance de ganhar um upgrade no seu assento na Arena Carioca 1. Vocês vão ficar ali, ó, naqueles assentos pretos, de caracol, camarote, na janelinha, vendo os caras passando pertinho de vocês, tendo chance de interagir, de repente, trocar uma ideia, trocar uma foto, sacou?
Welcome back to Carioca Arena in Olympic Park. There is a beautiful shot of this World Championship course. And for more on it, let's go to the street skate. Size that 151 feet long by 54 feet wide. Starting on the big section, skaters can hit the long triple set with rails on either side or the mellow center hubba, or they can risk it all on the gap to flat bar that ends way too high for comfort. On the outer edge, there are bump ups to flat ledges or smaller stair sets with flat bars leading straight to the center section, where skaters will find this perfect bump to hubba. On either side of that, there's these closeout rails and long, smooth ledges. And finally, on the end, there's a quarter pipe, finishing off the perfect course. What do you think about this course, Chris? How much do you love it? How much do skaters love it?
I think it's excellent. I think that it really broadens the play field where everybody can find something on the course. And that's really important because for a guy like Felipe, who gets so tech, you have tech obstacles.
Chris Joslin coming in for his first of 2 runs.
Coming in fast. Almost aired over that backside tail slide.
Chris is our first skater that we have yet to see this weekend, which is very exciting. These next skaters all qualified in through seasonal tour points. But man, he is putting it down right now.
Yep. I mean, he is such an animal on all obstacles. I mean, that front 270 whip right off of a kind of a wild landing, and the setup was weird. I can't believe he did that.
Coming out of the big closeout. Oh!
He was ranked dangling, Chris.
He was really, really close on that one. But you could see it. As soon as he took off, those feet were a little wild.
He has so much skill, though. You saw him trying to bring it back around all the way to the bitter end. But how does that run? How is it going to stack up against what we've seen?
I'm not really sure. I don't think that it's going to stack up at the level that the other guys put down, but that front 270 whip right there that was really pushed out ahead of him, I like that he pulled back fakie. It was a real front 180, then twist. And he gets a 7.7. That is nothing to shake a stick at going into any sort of situation. Another run or best trick.
And especially with a fall at the end, still walking out of there with a 7.7 is good. Next in, Felipe Gustavo. He has never been on a podium in SLS. This is his first ever Super Crown. And he's skating in front of his countrymen here in Brazil. What should we expect?
That has to feel awesome. A perfect switch flip right there.
Wow.
That trick alone, if you have ever done that trick, you know that that was risky for him to throw that into the line, especially in the beginning, especially with speed. That could have been a moment where he missed it and then had to regain speed and lost a bunch.
It kind of seems like overall, though, Felipe is just a giant risk. I mean, the tricks that he tends to do are so difficult that if he were to put it together, and there's no better time than today, it would be remarkable.
Absolutely. With the tricks that he's doing right now, he's putting together an incredible run. Whoa! I mean, that was an incredible run without the switch frontside flip, but if he polishes that up for his next run, that's gonna crank the scale.
Is it enough to get up in those top spots, though? Is it 8.7 or 8.8 worthy?
You know, I think it's up in the 8s. I don't know if it's up in the 8.7 range.
8.4.
You said it, Chris.
Good enough for third place for Felipe Gustavo.
That's contention for podium, but it's still very early on.
Very early. Everything's going to change, but you do want that comfort zone.
Kelvin Hoffler, third place at the 2017 World Championship in LA. He's placed third at every single event since all year. He's trying.
No way.
And for Kelvin, that's a curse. He can win. He can win.
Did you just see that?
Yes.
Half cab blunt. 270 out on the dogleg rail. That's a dangerous, dangerous move. I saw him do it in practice. I thought that was the best trick move, not a run move.
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow. Kick flip from Blunt. How hard
He
is
still
that in
has
the middle of the
15
run?
seconds left.
This is the best run we've seen today.
Oh, no!
Until that.
He still has time to get another trick in if he hustles.
He'll hustle.
He can watch the clock. He knows. And the back tail.
Back tail!
All right.
NBD out here this
That was
weekend.
awesome because I thought he was going to do the back lip, but we've already seen the back lip a couple times, and I guess he thought about that and was like, you know what? Back tail score better. I'm going to do back tail.
No one is
Walk
back
us
tail
through these
back.
tricks, Chris.
I mean, half cab blunt 270, that is a single trick. That should not be in the run. Neither should a kickflip front blunt on a handrail. That is a really hard one to actually get it to kickflip and place the tail on the rail in the right spot.
I
Needs
can't
an
wait to see
8.8.
score.
9 Club! Kelvin Hoffler! The crowd loves Kelvin Hoffler.
The judges awarded him for doing the hard tricks. It wasn't, the fall didn't matter because the tricks he did were so good.
Yeah, but imagine what happens if he does do that. That is sending a huge message to all the other skaters right now
Absolutely.
in the finals. I wonder how Yuto is going into this run.
So Yuto has the pressure of the world on his shoulders. Everyone else is gone. A lot of great runs. He's won 3 in a row. He's got to put it down here to build that momentum and move on.
As it turns out, Yuto knows how to deal with that.
Yes, he does. He's proved it to us many times.
He always looks super, super calm. You never see him like he's in any type of distress.
Absolutely.
If anything, though, I think that could count against him because in some ways it looks so casual, like he's not even trying. It doesn't look hard.
It doesn't look, yeah, it doesn't look hard. Sometimes there's help in showing the judges that this was hard, by the way, in case you didn't pay attention, this was hard.
He is... Yuto's ripping, but how do you think this run compares to Kelvin's run?
Oh.
Kelvin missed the trick.
You know, that was an incredible run. Not many board flips in it, but I mean, that tray flip 50 did not actually make it into 50. I don't know if they'll count it as a 50 or not, but he did do a massive back three that almost got away from him when his front foot went into heel foot position in the air.
So Yuto Horigome, after run number 1, needs a 9.1 for first. He gets an 8.9, good enough for second place between Kelvin and Nyjah.
That is a very fair score, I believe.
I agree. Wow, what a start here in the Super Crown. There's your current leader after first runs, Kelvin Hoefler. We'll be back with second runs after this.
Meu amigo Bruno Collier, conhecido como Funil, parceiro, o que vai ver agora, hein, nessa segunda volta? Os caras não estão querendo deixar para best trick, não, cara.
Exatamente, professor Antônio Gimenez. O que vem por aí é o seguinte: teve gente que não alcançou seu objetivo total nesse primeiro rolê, vai correr atrás com a faca nos dentes agora nessa segunda oportunidade. Porque depois que acabar as duas brand sections, a gente vai para os best trick attempts. Sempre lembrando que as 4 melhores oportunidades de nota são computadas para efeito aí de pontuação.
Pois é, então, cara, pode até nem se dar muito bem aqui na fase das apresentações, mas se ele mandar várias marretadas em sequência diferentes, em obstáculos diferentes, e realmente deixar os juízes de queixo caído, eles podem realmente passar e se dar muito bem. Isso aconteceu ontem com o Nyjah, né, cara? Você se lembra, né?
Exatamente, cara. Eu não queria estar trabalhando de juiz nesse evento, irmão.
Então é isso, galera. Vamos dar um break aqui. Vamos passar um vídeo. Valeu!
Welcome back to the Super Crown Final in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We are inside Carioca Arena at Olympic Park, site of the 2016 Olympic Games. And there's a shot of Yuto Horigome warming up for his second runs. Yuto is so new to the scene here, we had to catch up with him for some insight into his career so far.
My name is Yuto Horigome, and I'm from Tokyo, Japan. On a usual day, I like to get up, eat some breakfast, and go skate. Once I get home, I study English. When I'm not skating, I like to go to the arcade. I enjoy playing racing games. I like skating SLS because I watched it growing up as a child. Now I get to skate with some of my favorite skaters. When I won my first SLS contest, it was a dream come true. I have dreamed of winning this contest ever since I started skating and watching SLS. My goals for the future are to buy a house, build a skate park, and hang out with my friends.
I mean, Yuto, to be coming from nowhere to this level, I mean, we hadn't heard of Yuto before a few years ago, and look at where he's at right now. It's almost like a superhero.
Yeah, absolutely unstoppable so far, and there is Ivan Montero getting ready for his second run, and congratulations to Ivan Montero for being the monster, making the cut, skater of the weekend, just squeaking his way into the Super Crown Final in 8th place. And here we go. He's in 8th place, but he had a solid first run score.
That back nose one is very risky business. I mean, you can overshoot it, you can sit in it for too long and lose some time. I'm surprised that that's the second trick in.
That's a go-to for Ivan.
And I don't know if it's scored.
Whoa! There, this time, 360 flip, nose blunt. He is always going for the win.
That's excellent. I can't believe that just happened inside a contest.
That's the trick he fell on in his first run, and here he is back in run number 2.
Well, now, what's bizarre is now he does the triflip whip, which is impressive that he's doing them back-to-back, but the crescendo didn't really work out. It was more of a descendo.
Right, it's almost the same trick, just one rung down lower on the ladder. But
Seems
still
bizarre.
a strong finish, but a weird choice of a trick to do after doing that 360 flip nose blunt.
I mean, that was a bananas run. That's high 8s or a 9. It's a really, really good run, and I'm impressed.
9 club. So even with our critique of that choice of tricks, good enough for the 9. And Ivan Montero's in first place for now.
You know what? The tricks are the tricks. It doesn't matter the order that you put them in. I'm just nitpicking.
That's your job.
That's
so
right.
Keep it up, and we're going to keep it rolling with Mark Suciu. He's in 7th place. Started out with an 8.2. It's just been impressive to see what he's capable of.
Absolutely, and his demeanor in the arena with the other skaters, very friendly, non-assuming. Like, he's having a great time out there, and I think that that's reflecting in the way that he's skating. The 180 nose grind is a risky move. If you miss it just a little bit and you slide over, now you got to go retrieve your board. You lost a bunch of time. You maybe fell really hard.
And the half cab feeble grind, I've seen him in practice miss that trick a few times, and that's what happens. Half cab, tries to go feeble, ends up backboard, but he's recovering pretty well here.
And he upped that backsmith from the first run to a backsmith front 180 in the second run, so to kind of make up points a little bit.
Oh, and a strong finish once again at the buzzer.
And he hits him with a boneless. Maybe my favorite trick of the whole thing, because I did not expect him to do it.
Okay, so he had an 8.2 on his first run. This run had one fall, but tons of variety and hard tricks.
Absolutely. I just love watching him skate, and that was a great run.
So he only needs a 7.0 to move up into first. Gets the 7.3.
And he does.
But he and Ivan are the only two so far with 2 scores up.
So the gap gets bridged quickly.
On deck, Nyjah Huston, first run score of an 8.7. I want to see what he brings to this. What do you think? What do you think's going through his head after seeing 9s go down so far?
2 things can be going through his head. It's either, what do I have? Can I do as well as they've done? Or it's, I'm good enough. I know what I'm doing. It's not a big deal, right? I did well already. I don't have 2 scores, but I've got all these tricks. So wait for my second score. You'll see it. It's great.
It looks like that's how he's approaching it.
Yeah, the confidence level was high. He looks like he's got a good playlist on. And that matters.
He looks like he's feeling confident today. And there it is!
So talking about trick placement and what you do on your second run, he knows what to do more than anybody, and he does it with that back 180 nose grind. That is a 9 club run.
And I'm going to go back to the semifinal where he bailed that back 180 nose grind in the best trick section 3 times in a row, and he was mad at that trick, and he got vengeance right there in the final.
He has to feel really good about that. I mean, we feel really good about that. Look at how perfect he pinches it in. A lot of people kind of wiggle when they get into tricks, but not Nyjah. That's specific to Nyjah. I think that was 9.
9
and
club! 9.2. Nyjah Huston is way up in the lead, and he's like, yup. He's not like, oh, what a relief. He's like, take that.
You know what? That's one of those things where a lot of people with strategy look around like, what put it at a 9.2? He doesn't care. Like, yeah, go ahead. Try that back 180 nose grind.
Now, what does a rookie think after that?
I mean, that's all over the board. It depends on what the rookie is. He switched up his first trick, tried a hard flip, which I've seen him make so many times this weekend. It's almost like he could do it in his sleep, but not right this moment.
This is a different scenario. This is the biggest stage he's ever skated on, by far.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him enough to understand whether he's the type to unravel when something goes wrong in the beginning of a run or not.
What about that back three over that box?
That was unexpected, and I don't even know what to think about it. Like, is that a big back three? Is it not? I don't know.
It is a kicker on the top of a triple set with a massive box in the way, though.
It is such a weird place to do the back three. It's like skating flat ground as you drop in on vert.
Here we go. Another look at the back three.
That was crazy.
So with a couple falls, he's going to leave points on the table. Score of a 4. That's just like, hey, we're writing that run right off.
Yeah, they score at a 4. They're telling you to go back to the drawing board.
Wow. So far, so good. There's a shot of your current leader, Nyjah Huston, up on top. More skating when we come back.
de cada competidor. Três Snipe Clubs na final, hein? Até agora.
E a gente ainda está na primeira fase.
Pois é, fico só imaginando como é que vai ser na fase de tricks, na fase das manobras, que os caras realmente, olha, um negócio muito bruto.
Eu gosto muito desse formato aí da Street League, cara. Possibilita o cara realmente correr atrás, caso não tenha se dado bem em alguma das partes da competição.
Pois é, galera, já chegamos aí à grande final feminina. A final masculina está rolando.
Welcome back to Carioca Arena. It is a packed house. This Brazilian crowd is feeling it. It's been an amazing Super Crown final so far. There's a look at the judging panel. So much skate history up there. And we caught up with one of the judges to find out what they're looking for from these skaters.
My name's Scott Path, and I've been skating for 23 years. What I look for as a judge, obviously the difficulty of the trick, the amount of risk that someone's taking by doing it, and also style. Style matters. If you look at any sport, if you shoot a three-pointer and it looks really pretty, you still only get 3 points. Skateboarding, if you do a really hard trick and you do it looking really good, then you're gonna get a higher score. In the run section, I look for like a more complete run. And someone who can use the course creatively too. Like if you can find a different way to skate the course than everybody else, then you should be rewarded for that. Best trick section, there's so many different ways to stand out. Like you can stand out by skating a standard obstacle, but doing a really difficult, innovative trick. Or you can stand out by doing a trick that's out of the ordinary for creative reasons, not technical reasons.
The judge's job is always super duper hard. Everybody out there has the chops, and they basically have everybody's fate in their hands. Plus, you get booed a lot from the crowd. If somebody does a funny trick out there, the crowd wants an 11, and you're not going to give them an 11. It wasn't that hard. It was just funny.
And the judges are looking for unique skating and originality, and every single skater out here is bringing that and more. So then what? So let's talk about Chris Joslin. I mean, look at him. He's all unique: speed, power, pop, tricks, lines.
He has so much to offer because Chris Joslin is learning more tricks every single day. You see him out front of his house, in fact, like skating a box and a quarter pipe by himself, his kid in a high chair hanging out with him, and he's learning really gnarly tricks to bring to Street League out front of his house.
And Chris was the first skater on the course this morning early, practicing, putting in work.
And I love that. I love that type of dedication. It's not just flipping. And it shows a humongous big spin like that. It shows that he tried really hard to understand this course. He takes it seriously. He's stoked that people bought a ticket and are sitting here. He's stoked that people are watching, and he wants to give them the best show he can.
And he is doing it. 270, lip fakie, and here's the backside. Big spin, that is his trick.
It is crazy how good he has that trick.
8.6.
That's
a lot of huge scores.
That is a great place to be. It's an 8 fest out here, and it's awesome to bump up within 1 point roughly from the leader right now. That's a great place to be.
Felipe Gustavo in next, coming off an 8.4 on his first run.
If he can tighten this up and make every trick, but I feel like I jinxed him. I must have jinxed him.
Yeah, well, that start of that run is so hard, though. Like you were talking about, switch flip, bang, into a fakie flip, fakie nose grind.
Absolutely. The fakie flip, fakie nose grind is such a hard trick. I feel like it's a Daewon Song style trick, not something that should be thrown in the middle of a contest line, let alone it be right when you start. But also, one of my rules is don't flip your board first trick, and he does a switch flip for the first trick.
You know, and then another thing is, if you're going to fall, you might as well fall early and then kill the rest of your run.
That's true.
But he fell at the beginning and at the end. Now that's a double whammy. You got to assume. You got to assume that score is going to come in low at this point because the judges already got to be feeling the heat of all these high scores.
Yeah, the heat is on, and I mean, it's okay. He can go and he can run it through. And he gets a 6.4. That's not bad. But we do know that everybody's going to come in with really high scores for their 4, and he has the chops to rack it in the best trick.
A lot of times it takes at least an average of a 9 to win Super Crown, if not a 9.1 average. That's where we're at these days.
That is staggering.
And Kelvin Hoefler is a guy who can do it, coming off a 9 on his first run. This is his second run.
Okay, he starts out the run with 2 blunt slide tricks, both of them risky and hard because once you have a lot of points of contact, like your wheels and your tail, things can stick. And you weren't just out there waxing it, testing it. You were sitting, waiting for your turn, and you don't know if it's going to slide or stick.
All day.
Wow, okay.
Even with a fall, Kelvin just comes through. Putting down hammers. Here we go again. Oh, wow.
You know what Kelvin is really good for? He's really good for changing up the second run on the fly to kind of make up a few points here and there. He added a kickflip back lip in there, things of that nature. But look how good he did that kickflip front blunt. He flicks it and he kind of kickflips upward instead of downward as you normally do. And that's the way that he keeps it up and gets into that blunt. And he's really bending his knees right when he gets into that blunt.
So Kelvin with a 7.8 on his second run. And now Yuto Horigome coming off an 8.9, needs a 9.1 to take the lead.
That is a very typical tray flip 50-50. I know because I've done a lot of them. A lot of times the back truck is stubborn, doesn't want to get in just yet, but it will roll into 50-50 once you get the front truck in.
And then how about he just fell on a switch front big spin, basically flat ground trick.
I mean, that's the thing though, is skateboarding is hard, and a switch front big spin on flat is hard. There's somebody somewhere right now learning switch front big spin on flat ground, and they've been trying for a while.
Do you think falling on kind of a small trick counts less against you than falling on one of your major hammers?
Well, of course, because one of your major hammers would up your score, whereas the flat ground trick is kind of like, placeholder, but you do beat yourself up on the inside, and you're just like, stupid, stupid, stupid when that happens. Look at that back three. He does it almost like he's on a BMX bike. He turns his head and tilts his whole body into it.
Score is in for Yuto Horigome, 7.9. Pretty low score. So follow SLS on Instagram for all SLS news and moments. Speaking of moments, one of the best moments in SLS history, Luan first win. That was heavy. It's a switch big heel flip, heard round the world. So there's your current leader, Nyjah Huston, sitting pretty, and we'll be back with more Super Crown after this.
Não sei se você percebeu, ao longo da disputa, aquele obstáculo ali do meio, aquela trave grande.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Crown Final. We're inside Carioca Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Stands are packed. Now we've already seen some crazy scores come in tonight, including some nines. And for a breakdown on what it means to be a member and what it takes to become a member of the Nine Club, let's take a look at this.
The level of skateboarding in street leagues progressed so much. And the Nine Club, it wasn't really a thing when it started. Now it's like, all right, the Nine Club is something.
On deck, T-Puds.
Locking in for that back tail, and it makes it! 9.2, the judges loved it. Oh, wow! 9.2.
It ain't every trick. You know, you have to actually have a specific trick that, you know, either no one else could do or something that no one's ever seen before. Usually if you do an NBD, which means never been done, that's gonna be in the Nine Club. The Nine Club's that slam dunk, that alley-oop shot, that three-pointer, you know. When it happens, you know. The crowd goes wild. The skaters are all stoked. Everyone's banging their boards against the coping. That's a moment to remember.
So one skater who's going to be remembering that tonight, Ivan Montero, he's down with our own Andrew Cannon.
Ivan, you skated really well on that second run. You had a little bit of a bobble on the first one. Do you prefer the runs or the best tricks?
I like the runs better. You know, I like both, but runs I think I can do better on them.
Are you nervous going into best trick, or are you feeling confident in the tricks you got up your sleeve?
I have some tricks that I didn't do on the practice that I'm just going to try at a time. So I feel pretty confident, I think, you know.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Congrats.
All right, so we're about to kick off the best trick section, but first let's talk about the basics and how everything works. We already saw the run section. Now each skater will have 5 best trick attempts anywhere on the course, and that top 4 overall scores count from any section. So you could have 2 run scores, 2 best trick scores. You could have all best trick scores. Let's take a look at the standings as we move into best trick. Nyjah Huston feeling confident, going huge in the run section, finishing with a 17.9, followed by Kelvin Hoffler, also looking good, and Yuto Horigome rounding out the top 3. Chris, what do we expect to see in Best Trick?
All of these guys have incredible moves that they were doing in practice for the short amount of time that we got to watch them. And this is where we're going to see them shine. Just like that.
There you go.
That was the first trick in. First trick in.
Talk about why that trick could go so wrong.
I mean, there's a lot of parts of this, like, I don't know what you even would call that. That's a 3-flip to front board. That's exactly what it is. It's a 3-flip front board, but you 3-flip, there's a lot of opportunity for your board not to flip fast enough, to flip too slow, to flip, like, to spin. And, I mean, to get the right angle for it to actually get it in there is hard.
And it's a 360-degree flip, but it actually needs to turn an extra 90 to get into the front board, so it's like beyond. All right, Felipe Gustavo coming in 8th place.
And swinging. Switch flip back tail. He is incredible at that trick. And that ledge, it should be noted, has a gap in. If you watch right there, a gap in and a gap out, and he did that excellent. Look at that. That's his first trick in.
There is no way that trick could ever be done cleaner. That's perfection.
The only person who can do it like he can do it, 2 people. Shane O'Neill, P-Rod.
8.9, a huge score for Felipe.
That's a great score.
Ivan Montero coming in next. He said he feels better in the run section, but you know he has amazing tricks in the run section. Bring some of those to Best Trick, and he's going to be doing just fine. Currently in 8th.
I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay, he was going for that 270 lip. 270 is what it looked like. Once he got into the rail, he had his front shoulder tweaked all the way around again to make the 270 out a little bit easier. That'll score well if he does it.
Mark Suciu in 7th place, needs an 8.3 for first.
That was so sick. You know how hard it is if we get a replay on that. When he does the front feeble, he has to ollie straight by pressing his back toe, even though that's counterintuitive, to press your back toe down to get the ollie.
See it. I see it. Yes.
So he presses his back toe to basically even out his board, and then whips a 180 after that in a very Mark Johnson-esque style where he can turn his hips and not his shoulders.
8.9. Wow. And with that closeout rail coming in real hot, and if you get hung up on that,
well, I mean, that's a long back 180, right? You have to hold it for a bit.
Joslin, 8.2 will give him the lead.
And that's it. And that's an 8. That's for sure.
That is unbelievable.
Dude, he is so incredible.
Nollie inward, heel, back, 180. Is that what we just saw?
Yep. Nollie inward, heel flip, revert. Over the bar, like, look at that. Dude, he whipped that late. Watch, he doesn't turn it as much as he wanted to, but wait how long he waits and then whips at the last second. You give him any airtime, he's got it.
Nightclub! 9.4. That is creeping on some of the highest scores we've ever seen in SLS history.
And the sweat level on that deck just changed. Everybody's feeling that. A 9.4 has people shook.
And Joslin is in the lead now. Does Yuto change up his strategy? Whoa!
We have not seen him take that trick down that size handrail yet. Mostly bump to bars. That's impressive.
Let's say he tries it next go and makes it. What score in your mind, just thinking about it, is it probably going to come in at?
8.9 or 9.
Okay, good. Kelvin Hoffler. He's in 6th place. A 9 will put him in first.
This is interesting. I wonder what he'll pick. He has a lot of tricks to pick from.
This is
getting
exciting.
some speed.
This is good.
Kick crook.
Oh!
Kick back lip. You know what's crazy? I didn't even see him try it in practice. What do they do? What do they do with that? After you see somebody flip to this rail, you know that he's going to get scored really well. He landed it really well. It almost looks like he's going to kick back tail and then barely puts the truck over.
He probably could have made the decision in midair, knowing Kelvin. Like, now I got my feet on, I'll decide what to do with it.
He might have.
Yeah. 9 Club! Kelvin Hoffler, 9.0. He is getting scores he deserves out here tonight. I'm happy to see that. He has 2 9s tonight. 4 scores count. We said it. It's probably going to take at least a 9 average, so he's on his way.
But he is only 0.1 away with Jocelyn.
Yeah, I mean, it's bottlenecked up there. Okay, Nyjah coming in, needs an 8 to take the lead.
Oh! Easy 8. Look at that. Hey, that's the Nyjah that we all know and fear in the contest world.
Okay, no one hit that thing from Fakey yet until now.
There's a reason. That's insane. If you, okay, watch, you missed your tail right there. Now you're wrapped up on the rail, spinning. You can't see where you're going, and you don't have a skateboard to ride.
Wow.
Look how solid he landed it, too. Like, most people don't land any trick that solid.
That is a beautiful thing. Waiting on that score. Just needs the 8 or better. 9 Club! 9.3!
Hey, that is a really fair score for that. Full cap back whip.
Now, Nyjah has a pretty heavy lead over Kelvin Hoffler. 1.4 ahead. That is big. Back to the top of the order. Aurélien Giraud. He's in 6th place. He'll be the first skater to put up 4 scores. So by default, he'll be in the lead, but that doesn't mean anything right now.
That was a heavy move.
Yeah, that's true. I should be talking about the trick for a minute. Talk us through it.
Well, I know what I do when I do it. I do a really hard front 180, tweak the shoulders just like he did, and then I think of it like a switch back lip. I twist my hips just to get into that switch back lip, because if you think about doing a front 270, you'll overwhelm yourself and it won't be worth it.
Awesome trick. 8.8. 2 8.8s in a row in best trick.
It's not bad. It's not a bad score.
It's a great score, but at this point, you need to get 9s to win. There's got to be 9s. Felipe Gustavo coming in 6th. You got to be putting down 9s.
Yep, absolutely. He missed that nollie flip crook. I believe he's going to make it next try if he tries it again. It's my prediction.
Ivan Montero in 8th. Looking for his 3rd score. There it is!
Now, here's a question. Sick trick, for sure. But you heard those screeching tires.
It counts against him, no question.
It has to,
yeah,
right?
He didn't spin 270 and land fakie. He spun 200 and then kind of power slid 70.
Actually,
90.
I mean, straight 90. It's a full 90 power slide, which I think is super gangster looking. It's awesome, but
you can't give it the score that it would get if he landed fakie.
Absolutely.
The
crowd doesn't like
not
it.
Stoked, but if they were listening to you, Chris,
yeah, they
like
need to listen to our commentary right now, because maybe we would help explain.
All right, Mark Suciu coming in 5th place. Okay now.
Okay, so
talk about that trick. Is it hard? Does it deserve a huge score?
I don't think that's a huge score, although it's a really sick trick. He does it super duper cool. That's not a full cap back lip. You know,
right?
It's not the tricks that we've been seeing, although it's really rad, and he does it excellent. He has such control over his board, which side of his foot that he's pressing when it's on the bar.
8.7. good score.
The judges do like that trick.
And it is a great trick. I mean, it's a very technical rail trick on a rail that long, and he put it down perfectly. Chris Joslin coming in 5th place, looking for his 4th score. A 7.5 will put him in the lead, coming off a 9.4.
Oh! Okay, right when he popped, I was like, is he trying to nollie backside heel flip? And then it over-rotated, and then I saw his shoulders start to whip. I know he's trying.
Is that what he should be doing at this point in the contest, Chris?
Yes and no. He knows that he needs to be in the 9 club. That's why he's trying it.
Okay. Yuto!
I don't think I've ever seen Yuto land a trick sketchy. When he lands it, he lands it.
So Yuto coming into that trick in 8th place. He's just looking for his 3rd score at this point. That's going to get it, but it almost was perfect, but then his weight kept going and sabotaged his landing.
It's a new thing for Yuto to land sketchy. It's a new toe.
Maybe he'll get extra points for that. Maybe you'll get extra announcer points for that joke, Chris.
Look at it. Hey, he did a manual trick as well, although he touched, and he touched again.
5.3.
The judges gave him a wag of the finger.
Yeah. So now he's all of a sudden got tons of pressure on his last. He has 3 more tries. Has to make 2 of them.
I mean, that's a good amount of tries for a guy like Yuto.
Yeah. Kelvin Hoffler coming in 4th, needs a 7.4. Oh, I can't believe he just did that!
He did that so good, too. So good. Yeah, he's like, how do they even judge that? How do you judge it? It's too tight.
Give that your Chris Cole score.
I'm going to say that that's a 9.2, 9.3.
I'm going to go higher than that.
Look at that. Man, he did it good.
Has that ever been done by anyone ever in a contest?
I don't know if it's ever been done in a contest unless Jamie Foy did it at Tampa.
He did it in Best Trick, but that's different. 9.5 for Kelvin Hoffler, and the crowd is loving it. Yeah! Kelvin Hoffler catapults himself into 1st place. He's sitting on a 35.3 overall score, and he's got a 7.8 that he can get rid of in his next few tries. Okay. Nyjah Huston on deck.
He's got a good playlist. He's hyped on his song. Dude, he is so good. He saw the kickflip back lip, saw that it got scored good. Nobody else would ever step to that, but his tricks are so good, his skill's so high, he's like, hey, I'll do a kickflip back lip too. And if anybody can kickflip back lip that thing, it's Nyjah. Look how good he did it. Dare I say he did it better than Kelvin? He didn't do it first, though.
Same trick, maybe the same amount of points, because it was done to perfection. 9 club, Nyjah. 9.0.
There's a lot of 9 club shields being flashed on the Jumbotron right now.
Nyjah retakes the lead, 36.2. What an amazing start to this Super Crown final. SLS broadcasts all over the world, and you can keep tuning in. You are watching the SLS Super Crown Final. It's the World Championship. There's Kelvin Hoffler. 3 best trick attempts still to come.
É isso aí, galera. Estamos aqui. Uma presença muito especial. Olha quem está aqui com a gente, galera. Letícia. Sem problema, aquela falha técnica, a gente faz o revezamento aí de microfones. E aí, Letícia, beleza?
Fala galera, como vocês estão se sentindo hoje?
A Letícia, galera, mais cedo fez a Arena Carioca estremecer, isso aqui pegou fogo. A mina andou muito. Dá um papo, Letícia, sobre essa final aí, sobre essa tua participação. Street League correndo em casa, você que já participou aí. Você faturou a primeira participação feminina na Street League, foi a primeira campeã. Dá um papo como é que foi correr em casa, essa celebração da galera aqui.
We're back. Welcome to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This amazingly beautiful country with such passion for skateboarding. We're inside Carioca Arena. This is the World Skate SLS World Championship. And there's Chris Joslin. He's sitting on a 9.4. He's got best tricks still to come. We sat down with Chris to find out what life is like off the board and his thoughts on skating SLS.
My name's Chris Joslin and I'm from Hawaiian Gardens, California. When I'm not skating, on my free time, I'm usually hanging out with the fam, just trying to get the house clean or make sure the daughter's all good and the wife's taken care of. And yeah, if everything's usually chilling, I'll take London for a bike ride or we'll play with her toys, random little things around the house. Well, I was 20 when I had her, so it was like definitely sketchy and scary, like thinking like, man, I'm so young, am I ready for this? But then like, Grandma helped me out a lot when I like learned a lot from her, from watching her, so that helped out for sure. Skating an SLS event, it's definitely nerve-wracking, but at the same time, so much fun because you're skating with all these people that you're inspired by and look up to, and you get to like feed off their energy. When it comes down to the last trick and your last try, it probably adds like 10 times more pressure, but then like 10 times more reward if you do land it. It's like, I can't believe I just did that under all this pressure. The people coming up right now or the next generation, just have fun, man. Don't take anything too seriously and just enjoy it. Enjoy your time on the skateboard.
Welcome back inside the arena where we are in the best trick section of the Super Crown final. There's Gabriel Medina, Surf World Champion, here in the crowd. He's Brazilian, cheering on Kelvin Hoffler, I'm sure, Felipe Gustavo, Ivan Monteiro representing Brazil in a big way. There's a look at our current standings. Look at this, Chris. In 8th place, Yuto Horigome. He's struggling right now. He has a lot of work to do. Chris, you're laughing.
He does, but it closes the gap quickly with some big tricks.
Now look at this. Mark Suchu in 3rd place, surprising us all year long. Kelvin Hoffler in 2nd. Nyjah Houston up in the lead. Nyjah is dominating, but Kelvin is looking equally as confident. And here comes Aurélien Girard coming in 4th.
Hitting him with a back 270 nose blunt. It's such a wild trick because as you start to spin, your head has to turn first. He turns his head. You don't know where the rail is. You just have to go on memory. This is how far I was going to move my foot to drop my foot on the rail.
That is some beautiful insight. This is coming from a dude, one of the few who've ever done that trick. So thank you, Chris. All right, that's why I got you up here.
You're very welcome.
8.7, great score. On deck, Felipe Gustavo. He's in 6th place. He's looking to post his 4th score, so his standing could change real quick. Hey now!
That was a really strong nollie flip crook. You could hear it. Bow, bow. Like
he popped out of that.
That's right. He didn't get the right pop off of the front of his board last time, and so I knew he was going to make sure he hit it really hard. That's why he popped as high as he did, so that he could catch a nollie flip and drop it into crook rather than nollie flip right into crook.
8.7. Wow, these scores.
What's funny is he asked me earlier today, do you think that this is an 8.7? And showed me a video of him doing that trick, and I said, yeah, I think that's an 8.7, and it ends up being an 8.7.
That's incredible. Ivan Monteiro coming in at 7th place. Oh. He's still trying to post fourth score. Andrew, what advice do you give to Ivan at this point?
I think that's a really iffy trick, just because the way that you dive into it from the side, your wheels want to catch the side of the ledge. I mean, it can slip out, it can stick.
Oh, Andrew, we saw him do that trick.
Yeah,
First try in semis.
Yeah, Mark did that back Smith front 180, and unfortunately unable to get it right there, but a really solid score right now as he continues to move up the leaderboard. So right now.
All right, Jocelyn coming in with all that speed, trying for that Nollie 360 heel. It's crazy how he does tricks, because if he sees grip tape, he will go for it.
Should he not stick one other trick that he can do every try before going to that trick to win it?
If I were on the sidelines, I would tell him to do a bonkers tray flip somewhere.
Now, Yuto Horigome needs to put down tricks.
That looked like where he was going with it was going to be insane.
Yeah, a real skater's move if he was trying what we expect.
So Yuto has 2 attempts left.
This guy, on the other hand.
Okay, yeah. Kelvin Hoffler sitting in second place, needs an 8.1 for first. Can he get an 8.8, guys? Can he do it?
He's in a really good
yeah.
spot. He can definitely get an 8.8, but the pressure is on, and you know he feels it.
2 of his tricks, though, in the best trick section are 9s already, 9 and 9.5. I don't see him slowing down. Oh.
Whoa. You know what's crazy? That right there. To see him miss a kickflip crooked grind, I think I've watched him make every kickflip crooked grind he's tried for years now.
You know what, though? This season, he hasn't been bringing that one out the same way he used to. He's been switching up his tricks, which obviously the judges like.
It does get harder. If you deepen that bag of tricks, it does get harder. Whoa! Wow! That right there is how you solidify leads.
Yeah, it is.
Lowest score, 8.7.
I mean, he is stoked. Kickflip back tail, that monster rail. Watch how he goes up. That was absolutely done perfectly. He has to make sure that he kickflips, but doesn't kickflip too hard, so that the tail, watch, he kicks his board just enough to flatten the board, not nosedive, not rocket it, so that he can get that tail up there and slide it all the way. And then to fall off of something face high, fakie, is always harder.
Yeah, going backwards that whole time is so sketchy.
Wow.
9.5.
9.5. You know he's so hyped.
So he just dropped an 8.7. He got rid of his 8.7.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To get rid of an 8.7.
Back to the top of the order. Best trick attempt number 4 for Aurelian. He's in 3rd place.
He needed that right there.
And could he have ever done that trick better?
That was so wild.
He needed a 9.1 to move into 2nd place. Is that trick a 9.1? Does he bump Kelvin into 3rd place? What do you think?
Look at how far he landed. Look at where he lands in relation to the black line.
You know what I really love about that is he landed basically on the black line, but he did a full hard flip and then whipped back. So yes, he got the 9 club nod.
9 even. The crowd wanted more.
In contention for podium right now.
Oh, he is.
Not a bad place to be, and we still have another attempt for him.
He is in contention.
It is not over.
You know, he did that ghetto bird, as we call it, really perfect.
Felipe Gustavo, 9.4, gets him into 2nd.
Whoa! He pulled it.
I love it.
He pulled that. That was unbelievable. And you never see that from Felipe. He always lands perfectly. So to go that gnarly, totally out of character.
Yeah, he had to go into his head for it. Watch, he kickflip crooks, but he gets on the side of the rail and not on the top of the rail. which makes for a terrible landing, but he wrangled it, and I loved it. Watch, it's so far on the side. He almost primos, hits it with his back heel to make sure that he can flatten it back out. He's not going to get scored great for it, but we as fans, we appreciate it because that's a different Felipe.
He's got to get scored good for it, though, because he went for it, made it, and it is a heavy move. 8.0, Felipe Gustavo.
That's good.
That makes sense, though. He touched both toes when he landed.
Absolutely.
It's miraculous that he was able to stay on.
Great score.
Yeah, we're fans up here in the booth.
All right, Ivan Montero, he's in 7th place. He is looking for his 4th score. That's the story right now. He needs to make this trick and then put it down in his last try.
Oh, he did it!
The signature Ivan.
That was mind-blowing right there.
You know what? I like the way that he did that more than if he landed it perfectly. Because he tray flip nose slides, which is already hard enough. But the angle for a tray flip nose slide is hard. But then when he heel flips out, it goes too far away, and he grabs it on the ground and pulls it back toward him. Watch, so much can go wrong right there. Any sort of stick, but watch, he heel flips, it over rotates, and he pulls back toward himself. If his trucks were any tighter, he wasn't making it.
His back foot landed perfectly where it needed to be.
In the tray flip nose. 9 club, Ivan Montero, 9.2. These rookie kids, they're all 9s. All right, if they're landing on their boards, it's going to...
This is an intense final.
Mark Suciu. He's sitting on a lot of great scores. Needs a 9.6, though, just to move up into 2nd. That's where we're at here. It's incredible.
Oh.
See, now Mark knows the rules, and the rules are if you drop in and do not hit your tail to pop a trick, you can turn around.
He's playing it really smart.
That was a good move. I think he had something on his wheel.
Oh, he's stuck.
So he stuck his kingpin into the top of the rail. I would guarantee that that's exactly what happened right then. His kingpin dug into the paint on the top of the rail. Now, Jocelyn, he's in 7th place. He needs a 9.7 for 2nd. I think he's trying this thing for him.
Oh, he put it down so close right there.
Everybody here wants to see that be made.
He's definitely going to try it again.
That is a hectic move to try. How do you even keep it up to speed with you? You know, you pop off the front, but you're already rotating by the time you hit your nose, right? So inevitably, your wheels have caught the concrete and it falls behind you.
Yuto Horigome won everything this year. He's looking for his 4th score, and his other scores aren't that great. And
unfortunately, the undoing of Yuto Horigome here at the World Championship. But that leaves it open for our world champion.
Kelvin Hoffler looking for his first win since Super Crown 2015. He needs a huge score for first. We know he can get it. That's what's crazy.
Absolutely.
That is what's crazy. So, okay, his 4th of 5 best trick attempts. Needs a 9.6 to take the lead from Nyjah Huston. Here we go.
And a perfect kickflip crooked grind. Perfect.
That was amazing. But is it enough? Because Felipe got an 8 with a sketchy one. He rolled away from it with an 8.
Hey, listen, he's trying to get rid of a 7.8. Even if it's not enough to take the lead right now, he's going to get rid of a 7.8.
Which is great. I don't think that it's no 9.6. Nyjah's kickflip back tail fakie was a 9.5. And a kickflip crook is, dare I say, not quite as hard as a kickflip back tail fakie.
It's not as risky because you're not going blindside.
Nyjah appreciates what Kelvin's bringing right now. And Kelvin's in the crowd. 9 club! Yeah, 9.5.
Look at the scores.
He matches Nyjah's kickflip back tail with the 9.5.
This is insane. Kelvin Hoefler, Nyjah Huston tied 37 even.
Wow. So they're tied with a 37. Kelvin wins that tiebreaker with the highest score of the day so far. Well, he has two 9.5s. That's why Nyjah only has one 9.5. Kelvin has two. He wins the tiebreaker.
How is this even real?
This is because this is the World Championship. That is why it's real.
Nyjah on deck for his fourth best trick attempt. So here's where we're at. Nyjah needs to get rid of a 9.0 to increase his score.
I've never ever seen a bunch of the skaters up at the top looking at the board trying to figure out what they can even do. I mean, that's the job that we do.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable right now. Can Nyjah Huston get the 9.1 that he needs to bump up ahead of Kelvin Hoefler and break out from this tie?
You know what? You know what would do it for him? Back 180 nose grind 180. If he did that on the top turnbuckle, that is for sure.
Look at his focus. Here we go.
What's it going to be?
Nyjah does it! 360 flip lip!
Yeah,
that's
rope. It.
It's a game of skate out here.
How do you play a game of skate on something like that?
This right here is going to force Kelvin into doing the craziest trick on his last attempt.
What do you give that, a 10?
That is so huge.
And perfect.
Also, first try ever. He wasn't doing that in practice.
No. Amazing.
It's so hard to get it to stop in time, flip right. It almost goes into Smith grind. It almost over-rotates. But his focus is so, it's so precise.
This is the Nyjah Huston we haven't seen in a little bit. And it is glorious, okay? This is unbelievable.
Boom.
9 Club. No surprise, 9.6.
Oh, man.
One of the highest scores in SLS history.
No one can argue that. No one. Dude, that was insane. Talk about dealing with the pressure well. That's the Nyjah that everybody fears right there.
Wow, fifth and final tricks coming up here in the Super Crown Final. And there is one of Rio's most iconic images, the Copacabana Boardwalk. And Beats Studio 3 wireless headphones are designed for the SLS World Championships in Rio. First, second, and third place winners will receive the limited edition. Coming up next.
Essa está sendo a final masculina. Street League Skateboarding. World Championship Rio de Janeiro. Daqui a pouquinho, eles vêm com a última rodada de tentativas no Best Trick. Final masculina. Galera.
Welcome back to Rio de Janeiro. There's a shot of Ayori Nishimura, women's world champ. She took it home earlier today, and it was a battle right down to the finish. Leticia Buffoni skating out of here with second place, but congratulations to Japan's Ayora Nishimura. Here's our current standings. Chris, this has been insane. First, I'm just going to point out Yuto Horigome in 8th, and he's probably going to stay there. All right, but our top 2, it's been a battle between Nyjah Huston and Kelvin Hoffler, and Nyjah just shut it down with the tray flip on the top rope.
Absolutely, that was spectacular. But now Kelvin, I mean, what can he possibly answer with? When you need that big of a trick, what do you do?
But you know what? We've seen him in this situation before, and he always goes all in, and he's good for it. He very well could give us what we're looking for to bring it back to the battle for first.
Absolutely. You don't just throw in the towel. You go out there. You're out there. You're out there for all 7 goes.
Back to the top of the order. Final attempts here in Best Trick. This is a Global Open qualifier. Aurélien Girard. That was so close, but what an amazing finish for Aurélien Girard out here this weekend.
I'm seriously impressed by him. The way that he dealt with this.
He is sitting on the podium right now. We'll see if he can hang on to that spot for the rest of these tries. Felipe Gustavo. He needs a 9.4 to bump Aurélien off the podium. There it was! Felipe Gustavo delivering here in the final.
A perfect kickflip crook. I mean, that was a perfect one. You know, he got on the side last time when he did the kickflip crook, but this is the one that he wanted. Real strong. He was so pinched on his heel side wheel. Watch how much leverage he has on it, almost to use it as a spring to pop out with.
Okay.
When he lifts up his front foot.
So Kelvin got a 9.5 for his kickflip crook. He needs a 9.4 to get on the podium. He's never been there. 9 club!
And he did it!
9.5, he does it! Felipe Gustavo, mid-9s all day. This is unbelievable.
That was awesome. Good for him. Strategy and so much gnar.
To control the composure. Ivan Montero, he's in 6th place. He needs a 9.0 to move into 3rd place. He can bring a 9. He's got a bunch of them already.
I mean, he could. Oh, setting up in tray foot position. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let's hope he's okay. He hit his chin on the ground, which is never good.
The SLS World Championship medical crew is going to look after Ivan.
That was a really hard hit.
And to see that happen. We're going to take it to break and come back with more after this.
Como a gente estava dizendo, galera, nós temos a melhor equipe médica disponível. Não são apenas os melhores skatistas do mundo, também tem a equipe especializada, a melhor equipe especializada do planeta, tomando conta, inclusive, com assistência total da equipe médica da CBSK. So not only the best skaters in the world are here in America Carioca 1, we also have the best medical assistants so that those guys out there can do their jobs in the best way possible.
Welcome back inside Carioca Arena, where we just saw Ivan Montero take a heavy hit on that big flat bar. He's still being attended to by the medical crew here in Rio. Chris, the pros make it look easy.
You know, they really do. And when things go perfectly, it looks like it makes sense. But I mean, this is a dangerous sport. It just is. And we all skate within our abilities, but we push our abilities during the contest to try to win. And being somebody who has hit their face a lot of times, broken my teeth out, broken my nose, you know, these things happen. But I mean, if anybody can take it, it's a skateboarder.
So a lot of tense moments here in the arena, but we are gonna keep things rolling here in the best trick section of the Super Crown final. This is one of those scenarios now when Mark Suciu is in next, right? He's in 5th place. He's had a great event, and it's hard to be the next skater in. But let's take a look at the current standings, Chris. Yuto Horigome, who's won everything this year, is way down in 8th place. And then we've seen amazing skating from everyone from 7th up into 3rd. But in the 1st and 2nd place spots, it's been the Nyjah and Kelvin show tonight.
Absolutely.
Those are the only, okay, Kelvin's the only guy who can take it from Nyjah at this point. That's it. He's the only one still in contention with high enough scores.
I mean, it's going to take a real big score, though, which it makes it really exciting for all of us to watch, see what he's even going to try. I mean, never has it been this crazy. These tricks are nuts. These scores are bananas.
Nyjah's current score is a 37.6. His lowest score of his 4 is a 9.2, okay? And Kelvin is in 2nd with an overall score of 37 even. His lowest score is a 9.0, and he has 2 of those. So, I mean, it has just been unbelievable here tonight. There are 5 skaters left to go here tonight in the World Championship Super Crown final. And we really have seen some of the So let's take a look at some highlights of just what we're talking about.
I mean,
Kelvin Hoefler.
Kelvin with a strong pop out of that kickflip crook. What a good kickflip crook. He walks in perfectly with that heel perfectly placed so his weight's there, and he just blasts out of it.
And bolts all day long.
Look at it. It almost over-rotates, but not really. He knew what he was doing.
He is so good at adjusting on the fly. And then Nyjah Huston.
I mean, speaking of adjusting on the fly, Nyjah did that tray flip lip slide with no practice on it, no warm-up on it, just what do I need? High score? I guess I'll do a tray flip lip slide?
And to perfection.
To perfection. I mean, it over-rotates, and he's like, nah, dog, we got this. And he is stoked. I'd be stoked. I was stoked to watch it.
Everyone in here is stoked off their faces. This final has given us everything we could have hoped for. So we've heard from medical that Ivan is going for observation. We are hoping for the best, praying for the best for Ivan. And here we go. We're going to get back into it. Current leader, Nyjah Huston, with an overall score of 37.6. He's 0.6 of a point ahead of Kelvin Hoefler, who's in 2nd place. On deck is Mark Suciu, sitting in 5th place. He needs a 9.8 score. Okay, so we're getting a report that someone passed out in the crowd. I think that's just from sheer stoke.
Yeah, this is passing out because of sheer stoke. I think it might be because of blood. Funny fact is, I get queasy at blood as well.
Yeah.
But it has to be surgical style blood. Can't be bloody elbow.
So Mark Suciu talking himself through this final attempt. I mean, it's one of these things now. This is the final. He's got to lock his mind back in on the task at hand, block out everything that just went down over the last 10 minutes, and put down one hard trick.
And that's hard to do, especially when you're going to skate the same obstacle.
Yes. Mark Suciu, 5th and final best trick attempt here in the Super Crown final. Here we go.
Oh, so close. High fives, Yvonne.
For good luck.
You know, what an incredible performance out of Mark Suciu, though.
Indeed, it started in Huntington Beach. In practice, we saw it like, wow, he's looking good. He carried it through all the way to the Super Crown, killing it. Chris Joslin coming in for his 5th and final attempt. And he is out. 4 bails in a row after such an incredible start.
But you see the crowd is backing the dude, and with good reason.
Because the passion, they can feel.
Absolutely.
He's not out there like trying to strategize or anything else like we're talking about. He's here to just put down hammers.
He's hitting it with a hammer.
Yuto, he's just coming in. This is for the
highway
love
reel
and honor.
I mean, that's a pretty sick trick, too. If he made that, that's highway reel.
But what an incredible season Yuto has had. We can't discount it. 3 wins in a row.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just that.
That's that.
3 wins in a row against these dudes.
All right. This is it. The World Championship comes down to this. Kelvin Hoefler is the only skater left who's not Nyjah Huston. He can win, but he needs a 9.7, and Nyjah Huston is on top. Chris, does Kelvin have a 9.7 in him?
He does have the tricks for a 9.7 in him. Will he be able to pull it right now? I mean, it's got to be pretty technical. Oh, and he does not get in.
And that seals it. Nyjah Huston is your world champion. Final. Oh, he's got give it up.
Yo, what a champ. Nyjah.
2018 world champion. Back-to-back Super Crown wins. Hey, that makes Nyjah Huston a 5-time world champ. 2010, 2012, 2014, 17, and 18. Let's give it up. Nyjah Huston putting it down when it counts this year. Getting his first win, and he's the world champ.
Mas não acredito que tenha tido outra etapa com um nível técnico tão alto quanto essa. Definitivamente, 14 a página não muda só em uma fase da competição. Em uma fase da competição. Isso realmente é algo histórico, inédito, assim como foi a disputa do Street Skateboarding World Championship no Rio de Janeiro.
Quem veio, viveu, hein, Bruno?
Quem veio viver e ver outra coisa. Imagina a galera que está assistindo em casa, com show de imagens, com aquele slow motion, aquela coisa toda. Olha, quem não veio, quem não comprou os ingressos,
The World Skate SLS World Championship Rio de Janeiro has been brought to you by Monster Energy. Welcome back into Carioca Arena here in Rio, where we saw the most incredible final here tonight. And there are the final results. Felipe Gustavo, third place, his first ever podium, doing it for Brazil. Kelvin Hoffler slaying his way into second. Nyjah Huston taking the greatest win of his career. And Nyjah Huston is standing by with Andrew Cannon.
Nyjah, you are officially a 5-time world champion, back-to-back. You had a really tough year coming back from injury. What does this victory mean to you?
It means everything to me, not just the fact that this is my first win since like last year, but I mean, that was just the most insane contest ever, you know? I think that had to have been the highest score ever, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, when I was rolling out for the kickflip back tail, I was just like, I think I actually said it like out loud while I was rolling up. I was like, this contest is mine. And then I could not believe that he did kickflip crit, got a 9.5, tied me. I was in second. I don't even know why, because I don't know how the ties work. But tray flip lip, I just didn't even I didn't even think about anything. I didn't look what I needed to get ahead or anything. I was like, fuck it, tray flip lip, going down right now. And first go, didn't practice any, and fuck yeah. Thank you, Rio.
Well deserved. Congratulations, Nyjah Huston, your world champion.
And Nyjah Huston is also your monster highest scored trick winner with a 9.6. He didn't think about anything. He just went.
That's crazy to not think about anything in the land. Such a gnarly trick. Absolutely perfect.
This was the best display of skateboarding I've ever seen from Nyjah Huston, and he's given us 15 years or more of absolutely insane skating, and this was it for me. Right?
This is absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing. This is the best Nyjah performance to date.
And he's got the biggest score in SLS history, 37.6. The most well-deserved world championship win in all time.
This was the gnarliest contest I've ever witnessed in SLS history so far. So I'm so excited that we were here. We all got to see this happen, and Nyjah's got to be stoked.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone from all around the world. We'll see you next time.
A premiação vai rolar aí, Bruno. É isso aí, daqui a pouquinho a gente vai ter a cerimônia de premiação oficial aqui, categoria masculina, World Championship 3.